going to talk about Wheel of Time. And I'm going to take this moment to literally I'm going to forfeit my time and give my time to Jason and let him just go on as much as he wants to. And then when Jason, you get done and complete it, Jaren, you will go have your say, and then we will wrap up this show. All right, Jason.
I was going to say that I cannot accurately review this because I'm a super fan. So my opinion, I'm bought in because this is something I love already. So unless they do something to me that is of Titans the levels of egregiousness, I'm going to be here for this show.
You can't nitpick?
No, I'm gonna fucking nitpick all fucking day. So, but I can't judge the quality of the show because I'm already invested. So that's my problem.
But that's fine because you're invested, Jaren. I'm assuming you haven't read the books, right, Jaren?
He's like, he thought he read it, but I guess I did not.
Yeah. So we have one review.
There's nothing to do with time travel in this. Is some what? I was like, what did I read back in the day where I thought this was about time travel?
So we have super fan, and then we have a regular intro. So that's the correlation here. So go ahead.
My nitpicks. These are nitpicky things. These are all going to be fucking negative because I'm just a terrible human being and I hate life and I hate things. For me, I guess being a book reader, I would encourage everybody to go and read the books because they're really good. The beginning of this, in some ways, is worse than the beginning of the books. The beginning of the books, you start off with how the world was broken. You start off from the perspective of the character who broke the world. You get a good basis of the dangers and everything in it, and then you go on to Emmons Field, and you start the story. And in this, it's like a one sentence voiceover, and then we're going off. And like this whole entire first episode, like none of that shit happened in the books. Emmons Field is a nice, wonderful place. It's idyllic. They don't really have much interthermal drama because they're a close-knit fucking community that has to live and work together. So like the fact that Matt Coffin's family is drunkards and a lecher, it doesn't work because like who would cheat on their neighbor's wife when they know like that's all you got? Like it maybe here in America that makes sense, but in that sort of thing is like they would know and they were like, yo, some other person like, yo, you can't do that, or some other bullshit.
Right. And also it's not like you move away.
Yeah, it's not like you can move away and get away from the drama. You live, they stay there. So like I hate that sort of thing because Matt's character, there's two things because Matt's my favorite character in this whole entire series. But there's two things that they did in this that really made me want to go and punch people in the face.
Which one?
One is they made Matt is the skinny white guy.
Oh, okay.
The hater.
With what I thought was his daughters, but are just his sisters?
His sisters, yes. Because they're all 20 in the beginning of this. So he doesn't have daughters yet. Firstly, yes, he does love his sisters in the book, but he also loves his mom and his dad. They're good people. He would never steal from anybody in the two rivers because, as I said, they are a close-knit community. And he would steal from other people, strangers certainly, but not for someone who is just as poor and as needing as he is, because they're all there together, and they care. Also, I hate the fact that they made his family a bunch of dickholes. That's what I said. But also, the first episode is in some ways slower than the books because you get to really know that town before they move on to the tragedy that happens. You get to really see, because everybody. One thing they don't do is like no one is smiling in this fucking first episode. They're all so dour and upset and gloomy. And in the beginning of the books, they're not like that. They're happy. It's a fucking holiday for them. It's like they're being like, even Moiraine is like amongst them and being joyful and happy and shit. And this one, they're just like, oh, it's 2020. We've got to be sad and serious and shit. And it's like, come on, like the thing is, like, you show like the idyllic version of their lives first, and then you thrust them out into the real world where they have to learn, okay, it's not like that everywhere. So the first two episodes, I feel like they could have inserted another episode in there because they skip so much. They skip at least one important character. Well, in the first two episodes, they skip two important characters. And they skip a lot of the sort of like world building that happens in this, but I think it's because they blew their budget on all the magical effects. Because they go to city, they go to city before they go to shout our Lord Goth. Like literally everybody's there, and they split the party in the second episode. It's just like you don't get enough time with them together as a party before they set them off. But yeah, the introduction of the White Cloaks with her having the Aes Sedai already captured is really cool. But as a book reader, like the White Cloaks aren't very, very capable of actually capturing or even finding out who Aes Sedai is. They're just more of a threat to just normal people because Aes Sedai could fucking whoop all their asses. Like one of them could beat the fucking.
According to the beginning of that episode, that dude's collected like 7 rings.
Yeah, he's killed like seven women's rings, and it's not like they're not capable of doing it. It's that they're more capable of just killing regular people because they're more of like Inquisitors. Can't even say the word. Inquisitors. Yeah. They're not finding witches. They're just finding people who they don't like, and they're killing those people. But still, it's still like a really cool like introduction to them as being very dangerous, especially Pedro Nile, who ends up being far more dangerous than what he's letting on to be. But yeah, the one change that I kind of did like was that Perrin had a wife. She's definitely had a wife, and that wife was probably a dark friend because she looked like she was about to kill his ass right before he stabs her. Spoiler alert. It's in the first fucking episode, so if you haven't seen it. But in the books, he doesn't have a wife. But I think I like that because his struggle throughout the novels is more internalized. His struggle is that he doesn't trust himself to let go because he's afraid of hurting people. And I feel like this is a good visual way of explaining that.
That was a great way to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to visually explain that. So I think that was a cool change. And also the fact that we have a little mystery. Was she trying to hurt him? Was she not trying to hurt him? We don't know. Because she was kind of sour and like not really hanging out with the rest of the town as they're parting for. If you notice, she
grabbed his pinky when they were sleeping together, and then after he stabbed her accidentally, she grabbed his pinky again to be like, "I forgive you." Like I think that
she had her hands raised with her cudgel over her head, ready to strike him down, because he already had killed that Trolloc. So, and like the fact that she looks visibly upset through the whole entire first episode, and we don't know why. So it's because
I didn't get that. That's funny.
Well, she's not a real character to me, so I don't fucking care either way. He does end up getting married, but not for a long, long time. Spoiler alert. I mean, they all get married at the end of it. But as I said, I am fucking invested in the show. I like, picking the differences between what's happening and what's not happening. I'm going to watch this until they either cancel it or they do something so egregiously wrong that they piss me off and make me want to put my head through a blender like they did in Titans. But other than that, I suggest if you like, this is not going to be like Game of Thrones. There's not, at least not in the first sort of season. It will get more politically intriguing later. I would imagine in later seasons. But this is more of a straightforward sort of hero's journey tale where, unfortunately, the hero, the chosen one, is not really liked much by the regular people. In fact, they hate him as much as they would hate the bad guy. So hopefully that will come out more often in the show, and you can see like how it is actually truly different from other sort of fantasies out there. But as I said, I'm invested already. So that's me.
All right. Jaren, your thoughts on Wheel of Time?
Yeah, no, I'm game to watch this game. The first 2 episodes were great. I love the aerial photography, the setting of the placements of it. These are all absolutely gorgeous set pieces to have these people in. Like everything looks fantastic, and I don't know if they're doing cleanup and they're stitching stuff together in post. Yeah, no, it looks great. I want to go visit these places. So far the characters are good. It's very interesting to have a woman as young as the love interest is Egwene. Yeah, this is going to be like Game of Thrones for me. I'm going to get through like 3 seasons and not know their name. I'll be like, yo, the one chick fucking her brother, and then Stark guy, Stark dad.
That's going to be a wide worse. If they introduce as many characters as they do in the books, it's like hundreds. It's gonna be
it's weird that she would be so young and be so okay with essentially joining, you know, a church. Yeah, a culty churchy thing. That being said, it was very interesting, and being is that I don't know the story. The fact that the current / recently left village wisdom was also exceptionally young by wisdom standards. So it's interesting that she was recruiting a younger one even more, because apparently if you get the braid, that means you're 20, and she was like 26, and then she was already recruiting a 20-year-old to learn the ways of wisdom. So of being the village, I guess, medic. So I don't know.
It's a lot of things, like, you know, spiritual woman, de facto leader, even above the mayor. So like they're like a medic, you know, like a wise woman, really.
The Pocahontas.
Paint
with all the colors.
Can you paint with all the wizards of the
character wise, yeah, I mean, I like the guy. I like the guy that can't just catch a break and is a bit of a scoundrel. You always like the
scoundrel.
You always like the scoundrel, right? The scoundrels are great because they're the most interesting. The guy that kind of I like. So it's interesting that you say that the wife wasn't there in the books.
No.
Because I like that it gave this trio of people that are roughly the same age. You got the one guy that's already committed to the family. You got the one guy that's, you know, not, and a bit of a scoundrel. And you got the guy that's like planning his family. Like, I like that idea of these
3 different men at the same age in the
similar
same,
age people different, that are on different paths, but are also they get together for what I guess is an early morning beer. I don't even. There was a flag with foam on top. They're
drinking beer. Morning. It's post medieval but pre-industrial.
I was like, oh my god, let's get that beer on. First thing in the morning with some breakfast eggs. But yeah, no, I like that, and I like and I never got a negative vibe from the wife. But it's interesting because your insight being is that you were a huge fan of the subject matter. You might have attributed an idea to her that I just am unaware of. But I thought they were just in the middle of a fight, and he took a swing blindly and accidentally caught somebody that he didn't mean to. Maybe if I watch it again, it looked like she was coming up behind him in an aggressive stance. But I thought she had just dispatched somebody and turned, and then he blindly threw back and caught her. But that'll probably be it's the way you say it. If all of his struggles as that character were internal in the books, a way to bring that out and make it a thing in a visual medium is to create something similar that we see that then he has to deal with. So if that's the approach they're taking, I'm 100% for it.
And I also think it's a good idea because especially if she was a dark friend, this is something that he could theoretically get over, right? Something that he could theoretically forgive himself for, right? If it was just his wife that he loved and cared for, and she was just coming to pat him on the back and say, I love you, and he killed her, that's kind of unredeemable, at least in my eyes, right?
At a core human level, that is something he's going to live with, but that's also something that might shape him and make him a more complex character. Something where things are like he might end up being like more safe about things, or like might have like there's such a myriad of ideas and things that you can attribute to that person, because unfortunately we all live in the real world where we do a thing and then we have to continue on the same timeline and then enjoy the consequences of it. So there may be a scenario where this might make him a more deep character because of the fact that he's gone through that trauma. Self-inflicted, granted, but we'll see. I don't know. Visually, it's amazing, so I'm there for it just because it's pretty. And my boy Jasen here likes the subject matter, so I'm gonna have to watch it just so that we have something to talk about. So yeah, no, I'm 100% there for it. I'm excited.
Read the books too. No, I'm just saying, everybody read the books.
Reading is fundamental. Please always
get the audiobooks. Especially get the Michael Kramer and Kate Redding version. They're great when they read the audiobooks. If you don't have time to sit down and read. But the show, I mean, I'm here for the show. right now. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh my God. Even though I nitpicked, I'm not like, oh my God, they changed it. This is garbage. Why they do this? I'm just like, oh, this is different. Maybe I don't like it, but I'm still going to watch this.
Right. Absolutely. Well,
there's
if you had to give a rating for the first few episodes, Jaren, what would you give the rating for the first few episodes?
3.8. Let's see it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jason, Duke of Nerds, what are you giving?
9 out of 5.
There you go. 9 out of 5. All right.
Wait, I just want higher than Arcane.
Look. 9.5 means don't even watch it like VR set, virtual reality set. Watch it when you feel like you're in the show. You got to do that in a 9.5. If this show
gets more people interested in this sort of property, I am all for it. That's my thing. It's like if this people, and I can actually have people to talk about, because I've never talked about this show with any, or this series with anybody, because no one's read it, because everybody's like, oh, it's 14 books. I like to read. Like, no, you don't like to read. If 14 books is like too much for you, get the fuck out of here. Like, you read 7 Harry Potters.
I was going to read this. I was going to read the first book, and then I'm like, oh, the show's coming out. So I wanted to watch the first season and then read,
and then go back and read.
1.
That's what I did with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did with Game of Thrones too. So that's why I said I'm gonna wait and see when this is over.
I'm gonna pop up to your house, Jason. I'm gonna give you a gift. I'm gonna give you a book. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Is it one of your fucking your
Discworld
books?
Discworld.
I will read it. I'll tell you, this is terrible. Terry Pratchett's such a horrible writer.
I bet you will.
How do people like this?
$5 says you won't, but we'll see.
All right. Well, thank you for another show, another edition of the N-Word for Nerd podcast. Thank you all for listening. Please remember to like, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, hit that bell notification so you'll be notified when we post further content. Also, you can listen to the full shows on audio on Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We are everywhere you want to be. Or if you just want to listen to some clips, we'll have clips up on the audio, but as well as clips up on YouTube and Facebook. Guys, another one in the books. Jaren, I appreciate you being here. Any closing words?
This is my last episode. I've been told that this works better as a duo and not a trio. So
only Jess is the one that wanted to fire you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, definitely feed the algorithm gods on YouTube. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know that you like it. Throw in a comment in there just to say, hey, how's it going, guys, or whatever. Or if you comment and you have something you want to talk about, we will invite you on the show. We will move me over here and we will create another box and you can come on the show and speak your piece. And we highly, no other podcast does that. We recommend, like, we want you guys to be on here. We want to see new faces pop in for an episode, speak their piece. Let's do it. Let's go. I think that's what makes us unique. I think that's what makes us awesome. And we want to hear what you have to say.
We are better than Joe Rogan.
Well, yeah,
facts.
We believe in science.
That was the easy one. Jason, any closing words?
I am so excited that freaking Wheel of Time is on TV right now. You guys have no idea how happy I am that something I like is actually being made. It's like if people started listening to Coheed and Cambria or something like that, that'd be great. But either way,
we did.
Y'all be kind, be considerate, and tip your bartenders and servers at least 20%, even if they're shitty like Jared.
All right. Well, guys, thank you all for listening and viewing this week's show. We will see you all next week. Peace. And I'm just a guy with a bow and arrow.